Andy, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the song Hot to Go, or I don't
I'm
even know.
not. I'm
Okay,
not.
so like Google it or YouTube it. Um, HOTTOTO. I'm hot to go. Andy, it's not about being angry, but I'm hot to go because I'm angry today, Andy. I'm just gonna go off on some rants today. You're just gonna have to, Andy, you're just gonna have to today.
Take it, Dave. Let it out. Let it out.
Let's start with the fucking Cybertruck, Andy. Like, is this the biggest asshole car you ever seen? Like they're more and
I
more
literally
now
hate it.
in my neighborhood, Andy. I mean, like, what does that say? Like, I'm an asshole. Look at me. I mean, like, can you imagine driving that piece of shit around your neighborhood?
No, we were on the road last week. As we shared, Dave, I was on, doing a lot of road time for about 4 days, and we drove by a couple, and like they're just they're ridiculous. I mean, they're nothing screams, please give me attention. I need your attention more than that monstrosity. And if anybody's listening that drives a Cybertruck, I'm not judging you personally. A little
Yeah,
bit, I am judging you personally. I fucking hate that car. I think it's just ridiculous. And that's not even that's got even nothing to do with like the other things to like mock Elon Musk about. It's just like that is just a genuinely ugly vehicle, Dave.
it's ugly. Like, I don't even know what it says about you, Andy. Does it say that you're like a hardcore truck, like you want to be go off-roading and go like, or you
But
want to
it
haul
sucks at
shit?
it. It sucks at everything it's supposed to be able to do. Like even the tailgate recently, like is having issues. Like the tailgate's not even holding up under like basic tailgate functions. It's just a shitty vehicle.
I mean, like, I saw a Lamborghini the other day. That's a fucking awesome ass car. A
Yeah.
Ferrari, awesome ass car. Like Corvettes, awesome cars. This is like a mix between a wannabe Corvette Lamborghini style with a fucking moon fucking I don't even know. Like, all right, look, so I'm just off on that. Like, I've seen more and more now. Like, I just don't even know what that tells me about the people driving it. Do they have more money? Do they want the attention? Do they like do something else with your money, man? Like, it's got like, for fuck's sake,
All
drive a
right.
different car. Okay,
So this is
all
where
right.
we start today, Dave. I see it's going to be a good Friday. It's going to be a good Friday.
Okay, we're gonna, yeah, like, okay, let's just go. I'm going. Let's go DNC, Andy.
All right.
I mean, politics, we got, like, I want to get this fucking out of the way because I'm not actually angry about this, but I mean, okay, so I mean, the DNC had some moments this week. I mean, I think it
Yeah.
was a little fascinating to watch because the Republican one was after the assassination. There was all this, and look, at the time, I mean, at the time it was Biden versus Trump. So there was all this optimism. They basically were filling cabinet positions on the floor of the convention there because they were so confident. Um, and so there was a upbeat attitude there, same old stuff. But you look around that convention, and it was a lot of like mass deportations, a lot of like close the border. You mentioned it last time about you can't walk across the street without getting raped or killed in this country. For fuck's sake. And then you compare that to what happened at the Democratic convention this week, much like a lot more positivity, a lot
Yeah.
more talk about the way forward and the path forward, and not wanting to go back to like the angry times. We want to go forward with a collective unity. It just had a different feel all around, and then there was a big moment with the vice presidential nominee's son, who had a very emotional moment and reaction to his dad's speech,
Yeah.
which was going on social media very, a lot. And then you had Kamala's speech last night. Andy, I didn't watch, admittedly. At the end of the day, I really didn't care, but the feedback has been pretty positive on just the overall DNC kickoff. And now we're in high gear, Andy. Now we're going. So the thoughts on the week of the DNC coverage.
Well, I mean, the DNC, I mean, like you said before, these are pep rallies, right? I mean, they're pep rallies. They're what the party wants to project, not necessarily exactly where the party stands on things, right? I mean, they both kind of highlight certain points that they want to celebrate. the authenticity of those points isn't always exactly there. I mean, there's a lot to pick at the Democrats about, this rebrand. Smart. I mean, they're pushing, patriotism, freedom. Trump's a threat. We're full of joy and celebration. Bring the good times back. Let's end the fear. Let's get rid of this unserious man. I mean, it's a great messaging effort, right? And the whole vibe and energy was positive, 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 joy, 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 America, America, America. I mean, from that standpoint, like, great job. Now, can you look at some of what was said and say, well, party of freedom. Well, I disagree with you here. I disagree with you there. And, your heavy-handed positions here on COVID, your economic policies. There's lots of things to pick at when you want to get down to the nitty-gritty. But from the pep rally standpoint, a huge success, a huge success. And so they did well. And, like my wife and I stayed up to watch Tim Walz a little bit because, candidly, we didn't really know him very well. So we went to kind of hear him firsthand and see him firsthand. And Dave, as early as you and I get up, like that's a daybreaker. So we couldn't do it again, yesterday to watch Kamala Harris. I'll watch this speech. I'll read through a little bit just to understand it myself. But it sounds like she had some really good points talking about who she is and where she came from, talking about, former President Trump pretty directly, and saying what a lot of us are saying, that like he is not fit for office, right? He is not fit to be the president of the United States of America. Let's end this, what seems like endless, Trump era, and put this behind us. There's a lot of good commentary, right? When Bill Clinton got up there, right? Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, and Donald Trump are all the same age, right? All born in the same summer. And Clinton's like, hey, I was president 25 years ago, and I'm still younger than Donald Trump. And he's right, right? So it's like the idea to turn the page on Trump and the last 9+ years of the chaos that swirls around him. And Dave, you refer to yourself as Pigpen sometimes. Trump's a political pigpen, So I think Democrats did a great job. I think there's a lot to disagree with them about, about certain things they said. But as I said before, Dave, I think the picture they're painting, the choice they're making, is one that candidly I agree with. I haven't voted for Democrat or Republican in I think 12 years or so for the White House. I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris this time because I cannot take the idea of Donald Trump being president of the United States of America, and there's not another option that I'd like to really see. That being said, Dave, if we should note, I mean, as announced today, RFK speaks to the nation. So let's see what comes of that.
Let's see what contrasting views he may have. I do think it's going to come down to, how people feel about the direction of the nation will go. And you have the one side that Trump is very, there's nothing new about Trump's policies. I mean, it's exactly what he says it is. I mean, it's that Dennis Green, they are who we thought they are type of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Trump, we know all about him. We've known about him since 2016. I mean, it is that type of thing that he feels he can say, and there's not much change to his policies. But as opposed to like the old age Biden era that we had there for 4 years, you have a refreshing take now on the outlook of America. And the question is which way do you want to go? And I think that's going to be the ultimate decider for those independents out there. Do you want to have 4 years of what's going to be chaos, or a lot of fear, stuff and going on, or do you want to have a different view? And look, I think for the Democrats, there are some positive signs that, the things that had to come out of COVID and the changes from the inflation. The economy is what the economy is. It's getting slightly better. The stock market, if you're looking at it, which Trump likes to say, it's been at near highs all along. It's tough out there for sure, but is it going to be better with Trump? I don't know. So, but anywho, wrapping up that, anything else on the politics front you want to call out?
Yeah, I know we're going over a little bit here. Let me say two things. One, I have to say, I don't know if you saw, the moment or the moments, of Gus Walz during his father's speech. It was pretty incredible, right? I mean, the kid's emotional response to seeing his father. And it was anyone with, I think, a heart. I think any parent who, we celebrate anytime our kids express love towards us. Like it was really a very sweet and endearing moment. And as one commentator shared on Threads yesterday, and I'll share a picture of this with the show notes, like to see some of the mocking that's come out of it, you know,
I,
like Ann Coulter, who I've never
I,
cared
I,
for, right?
I
But I
saw
mean,
that.
like fuck off, you know what I mean? Like honestly, like fuck off. What a beautiful moment to see a child, you know, so emotionally just spun up and celebrating, you know, their parent and their and his genuine affection for his dad. Like, look, you can disagree with Tim Walz about his politics. You can say he's lying about this, that, or the other. He's not being forthright on his IVF treatment, his military record, whatever you want to say. But like as far as like a man and his family and just like he's a good American dude, you know, agree or disagree with his politics, and his family seems to really genuinely care about him and love him. That says a lot about who the person is as a person. That was a great moment. Like that was probably the best moment in the DNC, to be honest with you. And for all those, you know, they're out there shitting on it, like just like fuck you, you know, you honestly just fuck you. And we should say, I am curious to see, you know, RFK is going to make his announcement today. The assumption is he's going to throw his support behind Donald Trump. That is interesting. You know, his whatever it is right now, 3% of support isn't necessarily all follow him to Donald Trump, but it is notable. I mean, and so there's really not a true third party candidate, you know, on the ballot in the country. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out in the weeks ahead. For sure, coming out of the convention, the typical, you know, convention bounce, you know, with this, the polling the next week or two are going to be really interesting. And I'll stop there because I know we're over here.
Yeah, go with your anger, Andy. This is a hate like this is angry ranting Friday. Speaking of which, can I let me just rant on something too about Tim Walz or something. Look, I've heard a lot of people complaining, and for any of the military people who come out and said Tim Walz wasn't a real. I don't respect Tim Walz, but I'll respect JD Vance for their service and whatnot. I'll give the big FU to you guys too, because here's the deal: the guy served 24 years. It doesn't matter how his career ended or what he did or didn't do. He still put his time in there. He
Yeah,
still did a lot more than fuckhead Donald Trump did.
yeah,
Who by the so like if you're gonna really sit there and I think if they ever get into a pissing contest about whose service was better, just go fuck off. You know,
yeah,
like because that's just like what are we really arguing about here? I mean, the guy did his time. He retired. He put in his paperwork just like all of you did at the end of your careers. And look, and I just don't want to hear that kind of argument. Like his military service was better
yeah.
and more qualified. Fuck off. So
Yeah.
okay, so rant.
You're 100% right there. It's like, and just for anybody that hasn't served in the military, like the argument that he like quickly got out of the military to avoid deployment, like you don't quickly get out of the military, right? I
Yeah.
mean, like you can't quit the military like you quit Burger King, right? I mean, it's a process. The complaining is absolute bullshit. So yeah, so
And by the way, Andy, if they needed him to go on that fucking deployment, guess what?
yeah,
They would have not allowed him to put in his paperwork. They would have said, "Nope, it's rejected. We need you with your unit." So again, everybody who's fucking never served a day in their life, and for those who did serve, shame on you guys. You
yeah,
know what goes through, and look, I got no patience for that. I did my time. You did your time, Andy. They called you back from
yeah,
your civilians, like you were on the IRR. I mean, they
yeah.
called you back in. So like let's just drop with the fucking my service was better than yours. I don't have any respect for him. Get out of here. Fuck
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's an absolute crap line of attack. And you said it again, for those who haven't served, like the military can and absolutely has. I mean, my units did say, sorry, you can't separate at this time. We need you for this deployment. You're not going to let a command sergeant major, you know, out if you need them for the mission. Like it doesn't work that way. So this idea of abandonment, blah, 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 go sit on a dick. Like that's absolute bullshit. So, all right, Dave, let's move on.
Let's fucking go. Let's go.
A couple
God.
angry veterans this morning.
Angry veterans this morning. Okay, Andy, let's get into this one. This is a sports-based one. Andy, I'm like, I've never been in like so last year, the Baltimore Orioles, my baseball team since I've that's the only baseball team I've ever loved. They had a great year, 101 wins. I think you'll recall my wife and I for our anniversary went up to Baltimore, watched the playoff games. They lost, they got swept. It's fine. There's so much optimism coming into this year. They improved their pitching staff. They did a little bit of things around here and there. They still are the best farm system in the country, in the majors. They went out and started off like balls of fire. So fun. They had a splash zone in the outfield. Everything's going great and wonderful. They were 24 games above 500 in mid-June. Like one of the best records in the majors. And Andy, since then, they've been just like 500. They're 5 games below 500. And Andy, this is causing me so much fucking anxiety every day now. Like last year was so fun. I love that they won.
Yeah.
In every game that they won, I was like, oh, they shouldn't win this game, but they won. Oh my God, this is great. So you come in with more expectations, and they started off like balls of fire. I'm so excited. But Andy, like the last month has been hell for me. Like I'm like I don't even know if they'll win a game the rest of the year. That's where my fandom is gone, Andy. And it's like it's just killing me. I woke up in the middle of the night and I'm like, why the fuck didn't the Corbin Burns, who's had 3 bad starts in a row? What the fuck is going on with me, Andy? Is this normal? Like okay, so let's compare it to the Lions here. You had a great year last year,
Yeah.
better than like nobody thought you'd be like that. You were hoping to win a playoff game. That's where you were hoping to do.
Yeah.
And you did that. Now you're coming in, you're top five. You said it last time. The people are picking you in the top five of Super Bowl contenders. What happened if you start off 5-1 and then you just kind of go, 4-4 the rest of the way? I mean, is that gonna be I don't know, Andy. Like this is what sucks about fandom. It
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah, Dave, it does. I mean, I love the emotional roller coaster. I love the way we live and die with our teams. Talk about it. Like I'm petrified. Like last year, I did call it the Lions need to do. They did better than I expect them to do. Sports Illustrated put the Lions on the cover and are calling them to win the Super Bowl. Like the expectations of this team are so high. If they come out and lose Week 1 to the Rams, like it's going to be chaos. So I love the way we get tied into our teams. I think it's so fun, and I know I feel your struggles. With your beloved O's. Hey, that's sports, man, and ownership matters so much. As your Cowboys can speak to, but man, as painful and miserable and emotionally destroying as it is, don't you just love it though? I mean, don't you just love cheering on your team and all the joy that brings?
I mean, it does, but like I can't even watch it right now. Like it's so hard for me because I have so much anxiety around this, and maybe do need to take a step back. But this is the thing that I get into every time. It's like I let my and we haven't even gotten the football season. Fucking Penn State's got there might be 10-2 this year, but then they're gonna lose some stupid ass game. They're not gonna beat Ohio State, and here I am gonna be in the roller coaster again. But the Cowboys, I refuse to let the Cowboys control my Sundays anymore. I'm gonna watch my red zone. If the Cowboys win, that's fucking great. I just like it's like it's killing me.
It's tough, Dave. I feel you, man. I feel you. But listen, while you're suffering with your teams, like I said something quickly there that I think I've got to pause and just got to pause and note the moment we're in here on this Friday, August 23rd, 2024, in the year of our Lord. Dave, I just want to repeat this statement and just Sports Illustrated has picked the Detroit Lions to win the Super Bowl, right? Just pause on that. 4 years ago, Matt fucking Patricia was the coach of the Detroit Lions, and we genuinely sucked. And you talk about
Yeah.
the Detroit Lions, the can't win a playoff game, can't win their division Lions. Dave, picked to win the fucking Super Bowl by Sports Illustrated magazine. Like, can you appreciate the moment that this is? Uh, Join us. Put the Cowboys behind you. Get on the Lions bandwagon. I've got so much merch. I'll send you t-shirts, hats, jackets, Dave, whatever you want. I'll get you loaded for the season. Come on board, man. The bandwagon's got room. The Detroit Lions have been picked to win the Super Bowl, like in serious statements. This is an incredible time. So I feel for you and your Orioles. God bless the Dallas Cowboys. I can't wait to see how they blow it in the playoffs this year. I mean,
They got to make the playoffs. They I don't even know if they're
they
gonna make
have to. They have to continue the tradition of getting to the playoffs, lifting up your expectations, and finding an absolute crappy play to lose to the 49ers with. Like the back-to-back years of losing to the Niners with maybe the two shittiest plays in NFL history, and then to bring Zeke back so they can maybe run that play one more time. Dave, I want to see Zeke snap the ball. Like I'm so excited for the Dallas Cowboys to be shitty. I can't even put it into words. But the Detroit Lions are picked to win the Super Bowl, Dave.
Andy, they ran that play as their last play of the freaking game. Like, this is the way I'm going to save my
It was
season.
incredible.
It was the worst fucking play in the, like, your coach should have been fired right then and there.
Right
Like,
then on the
how,
field.
how do you keep that going? And I mean, we have so much. I look, I'll give you a lot of applause, Andy, because the Lions were also 0 and 16 as well. Like,
Yeah,
they've been ever since, like, even with the Barry Sanders, like, as great as he was, they weren't like 12 and 2 or 4 every year. I
no,
mean, they were barely cutting by and such. And I think Barry Sanders retired mostly because of didn't want to keep
take
getting the
it.
shit knocked out of him. And
Yeah,
so,
they did. Barry Sanders and Megatron. I mean, we had two of
oh
the
yeah,
best
Megatron
players
played
in their
early too.
position. I mean, it's incredible. Like the Lions. When it's been a hard 30 plus years, Dave, of being a Lions fan. I love them, but I mean that team has broken my heart many times. But God, 2024, like expectations are so high. It petrifies me. I love it. I love it. I love
And,
it.
well,
Where are we going?
well,
Where are we going, Rattler?
speaking
Huh?
of that, Andy, let's turn to some optimism.
All right.
You said I love it. That reminds me of a good Frank Drebin line from Naked Gun.
Yes.
When they're like, somebody's it smells like raw sewage in here. He goes, that'd be me. I just been swimming in raw sewage. I love it. And that was his code line for it was supposed to be then OJ Simpson coming through the front door. Like, think about the craziness of that. OJ Simpson was like an acting star
Yeah.
in the Naked Gun movies. He'd done all those
Yeah.
commercials, and then winds up being um, well, I can't say he was a convicted murderer, but he was anyways. Okay, Andy, let's turn to some positivity.
Do it.
We've talked about the Arnold Pump Club. We had Scott on earlier this week talking about the Pump Club and the positivity there, and like one step at a time.
Yeah.
Uh, Andy, there's a couple like interesting developments on the health front about one, getting out early, exercising early, increasing like the longevity,
Yeah.
and increasing your health benefits. Exercising, early morning or even late morning, you get some extra health benefits. And again, that was published in Arnold's Pump newsletter, which is free for everybody. And I definitely encourage you guys to look at it because there's always a positive message there. And then there's just this, continued studies and health studies about how positivity and optimism, also like just extends your health benefits overall. And I think it's really here I'm saying that on a ranting Friday here, but it's all coming from love, Andy. My ranting, but um, there's benefits to one being healthy, just doing stuff, and then also having a positive outlook. And when we talk about comparisons of politics and whether it's politics of fear or politics of optimism, that it says something there. What do you think when you saw these things published, Andy?
Yeah, I think you hit a really key point there. I mean, one, the article's worth checking out in the Pump Club. We can, I hope folks check it out. We can share the link for that as well. And like, it just talks about how healthy optimism is, right? And it's based, the article is based on a study. I think two studies are linked in there, worth checking out. But it's something that I think people know anecdotally. There's basically science backing up. Just the power of thinking positively, being positive. It makes us healthier, happier people. And those that live bitter and resentful, like it takes a toll on us in so many ways, in our quality of life and even in the length of our life, right? So the power of positivity and optimism is great, and it applies to so much, Dave. Right? I mean, it applies to with this study with our health long term, but just day to day, like those that choose to be positive and see the positive, live for joy. Like it just makes life so much better, and just to come back to the politics piece, like that's the pictures being painted here between these two political parties. And it's worth just noting that, right? I mean, one party is trying to project themselves, again, agree or disagree with the politics, as a party of joy and celebration, and one is telling us how awful everything is all the time. It's very different images, and I don't want to live in a world of fear and hate and anger. You want to live joyfully, and that's something for us to think about, you know, in our politics, but in how we interact with people, you know, how we go into the weekend, how we interact with our families. You know, we're just so much better off. And so I love it. I mean, Dave, you know, I started a new workout routine as my youngest son is back at school. My oldest son works out with me, but not as routinely as my youngest did. So with his transition back, I started a workout routine this week and just getting out there and working out and feeling good and being, you know, happy about it. You're working out hard, trying to cut those last few pounds we've discussed, you know, the last couple of weeks. Like just celebrating those things, enjoying those things, like it makes us healthier and happier at so many levels. So I love the article. We'll share it. I'm glad we can talk about it. And on a hate-filled Friday morning, I'm glad that we can pause and enjoy some joy.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it's just like it's some simple things, just starting your day off right with a little exercise. And I think some of the things that when you talk about exercising and getting out there and doing stuff, it allows you like that time to work out, you know, some of the challenge, like the stresses or frustrations you may
Yeah,
be having through exercise. And
yeah,
whether and look, it doesn't you don't have to be powerlifting, you could be just simply walking and a lot of the time, you know, a walk for me could be 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes. But it allows me, and whether I'm listening to something or not, it allows me to, you know, work through things that might be I'm struggling with at work or at home or talk through things about how I'm going to solve. Like those are positive ways to work through that stuff as opposed to just sitting on my couch and stewing over something over and over again. It does allow me those things. So I think it's again, if I can encourage anybody, and my health journey continues, Andy. I had another really good week this
all
week.
right, all right.
So we're doing, you know, I'll keep everybody updated on Monday, but you know, it allows you just to have that energy, that time to go through things, and I think it's just important for everybody. And again, whether it's a 5 minute walk or like Scott said on Monday, you know, just walking 100 feet to get
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
And now he's out, you know, rucking it up with you know, 2 miles, 2, 3 miles or whatever. It's great. So good stuff all around, Andy.
yeah. I love it. You're right. I mean, working out is as much mental health as it is physical health, Dave. I mean, it does so much for the way we see ourselves, the way we feel, having that time to process everything we've been going through for the day, putting it behind us. Yeah, I talk about that with, you know, friends on threads a lot. Just like how when we go and hit that gym, like we put the day behind us, we refocus, we boost up our energy. Like it's just a win at so many levels. Whether you're lifting weights or you're out rucking or you're running or you're cycling or you're doing yoga or whatever you're doing, like just that physical time, it's physical health, it's mental health, staying positive, you know, being optimistic, looking on the bright side of things. I mean, I know it's hard when you're a Cowboys fan, but nonetheless, you know, that like there's always a positive to look to. So I love it. A good place, Dave, to wrap up a fun week of
Yeah.
Minnesota Max, Dave. It's a good week. It's a good week. And Dave, it's
Yeah.
New Music Friday. There's some great music that's already released this week. You know, Chewing Gum from one of my favorite bands from Down Under was released. I've got my Black Keys shirt on today. I'm gonna go checking out some new music. Like, what's not to celebrate on a beautiful Friday? Where did I mention the Detroit Lions are projected by Sports Illustrated to
Oh,
win the fucking
God.
Super Bowl? I mean, good night. Good night.
You might be doing this pod on Mondays alone if that continues, Andy. So, all right, yeah, definitely a good place to wrap up on a rant-filled Friday. But we ended on a good note, ended on some positivity. I feel better, Andy, having to
Good,
let that out, you
good.
know, get that out, and you know, I'm still an Orioles fan, do or die. It's just, gosh, I wish they'd just, you know, pull some of these games out. But they are better than they were 5 years ago, so that's one thing. So,
It's a joy being a
okay,
sports fan, Dave. It's a joy being a
uh,
sports fan.
is it joy or is it just like the I don't know. So all fun stuff. Okay, Andy, with that, we'll wrap up for the week. We've got a good week coming up next week. No doubt we are 1 week closer to NFL season kickoff. I just can't wait for the red zone every day or every Sunday, Andy.
Yeah,
It's one of my true joys to
yeah.
watch Scott Hansen go
Love
through
them. We
even,
love you,
even
Scott.
Are you playing fantasy football this year, Andy?
I am. I'm in a league with my brother-in-law who led a league for us last year. So I'm looking forward to that, Dave. And I mean, traditionally I suck at fantasy football. It just doesn't work out for me. I typically throw in my couple of bucks and give it away to somebody. But I'm going to try. How about you, Dave? Are you in a league this year?
I don't. I haven't been in a league in a couple years, and it's been the best thing I've ever had. Like honestly, like talk about like getting me worked up on a Sunday, because it's the worst thing is like you have your running back, you need like 3 more points. You have your running
Yeah.
back on the goal line, and the quarterback decides to sneak it in or something, and then you're just all pissed off the rest of the week. And I'm like, I've had weekends ruined because my fantasy team lost, but my college team won, my pro team won, and I'm still mad. So like I had to stop because I was I'll have to tell you the story about me working for the Jaguars. As
Yes. Yes.
yeah, so maybe I'll tell that story for next week. I'll tease Andy on that, and
Nice.
but that was my demise of the fantasy football season.
All
Been,
right. Something to look forward to listening to, Dave. Something to look forward to listening to.
yep. All right, Andy. With that, I'll catch up with you next time.